All right, so we want to understand improper fractions and mixed numbers. So I'm just going to take an example here as 7 over 3, right? So another term for improper fraction would be a top-heavy fraction. We can see why that is because the number at the top is greater than the number at the bottom, right? The numerator is greater than the denominator. So we'll call that a top-heavy fraction. And so that begs the question, right? This is an improper fraction, so what would be classed as a proper fraction? Well, a proper fraction would be the inverse of a improper fraction, and so we could say, for example, 3 over 7, the reverse of that, right? This would be called a proper fraction with the numerator rightly smaller than the denominator. All right, so we covered improper fractions. It's quite simple, right? An improper fraction is a fraction which has a numerator which is greater than the denominator. And so what are mixed numbers? Well, a mixed number is a whole number. Let's say we had 3 as a whole number and a proper fraction, right? Not an improper fraction. So this wouldn't be classed as a mixed number, right? Because a mixed number is a whole number and a proper fraction. So let's say 3 over 7 would be a proper fraction, right? So this would be called a mixed number. All right, so it just so happens as well is that we can convert between mixed numbers and improper fractions. So say we had the improper fraction 7 over 3, right? Let's say we had 7 over 3, we'll write it here. Now we'll simply just go ahead and divide that. So we'll divide the 3 into 7. So how many 3's are in 7? There are 2, and there will be a remainder of 1, and so we'll just say 1/3, right? And we can represent this pictorially as well. That helps to grasp the understanding. So let's say we had, I'll draw 2 circles here, and we're dealing with thirds, right? So I'll just divide this circle into thirds. And I'll go ahead and do the same thing with this one. All right, so now we have, in fact, I'll draw one more. I'll draw one more circle. One more circle is needed in this example. All right, so I have 3 circles there. All right, so now I'm going to count how many thirds I have, right? I have 7 thirds, right? So that's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, and here we have my 7th third. Right, so we can see here we have all three of our thirds. We have 3/3. 3/3 is 3 over 3, and that's the same as 3 divided by 3, which equals 1, right? So we have one whole here. We have another whole, so that's 2, and then finally we have 1/3, right? So we have 2 whole circles and a third of a circle, so 2 and 1/3. So we can see here that we've represented this same the operation pictorially there. All right, so we'll move on to one example just to help solidify your understanding a little bit. So let's say we had let's say we had 7/4. I like the number 7, right? So I want to convert this improper fraction into a mixed number. And so the way I'll do that is I'll just say how many 4's are in 7. There's 1 4 in 7, and then there will be a remainder of 3. So I'll put that over 4. And here, let's say we wanted to represent this pictorially. I'll just divide these circles into fourths. And then I'll simply count how many fourths, right? We have 7 fourths here. So that's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, and 7/4. So that would be 4/4, which would be one whole, and then we'll have 1 2 3 3/4. So we can see here the pictorial representation of that. Alright, so now what if I wanted to convert this mixed number? I wanted to do it the other way around. I converted my improper fraction to a mixed number. And now how about if I wanted to convert my mixed number back to an improper fraction? Well, the process is again very simple. We'll just multiply our denominator by our whole number and then add 3. So we'll have 4 times 1 plus 3, and then we'll put that whole thing over 4, right? Because we're dealing with fourths. And then we would say 4 times 4, which is 4, plus the 3, which is 7, over 4. So we've just converted it back. And we'll just have another example. And so let's say we had 9 over 2. We know that there are 4 2's in 9, and there will be a remainder of 1/2 there. So we've converted our improper fraction to a mixed number. So now I want to convert my mixed number back to an improper fraction. So the rule was that I multiply my denominator by the whole number, add the numerator, and put that all over the denominator. So I'd say 2 times 4 plus 1 divided by 2. So that's 2 times 4, which is 8, plus the 1, which is 9, and we have 9 over 2.